this day, and we thank you to be able to gather here and do your business. We ask you, Lord, to give us the knowledge that we need and let us do the business that needs to be done for Sylacauga today, Lord. We give you all the praise and glory. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, I'm gonna do a little backwards today. I'm gonna go over the items on the agenda. We don't have Brian Taunton's. Again, that's my mistake. He's gonna be on the following work session meeting, so you can scratch him off for this work session. We have some dates for public hearing to set or to approve. We have amended contract with Sims Cut to add that option for the watering the flowers. Southern Electrical contract, they were the only bid. We rebid it again. They were the only one to come in, so it's right there. They honored this quote that was how old, Kim?
The end of last year.
So they went ahead and honored that quote from last year when they're gonna eat several $100s, but since they already bid it on it last year, they're gonna honor that one. Then concrete street repair, they're gonna extend it because they're doing such a great job. They're on site doing what they need to do. They just had a bunch of weather days and all that stuff, the supply chain stuff, put them back, set them back. So they're doing the best they can.
What percentage are we at now?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him when he gets here.
Reed.
Always filling up.
He's out here.
Just seeing how far along we are on the concrete streets.
I'd say about 60%.
I was telling them, how good this company's doing. They just run into hiccups with weather days and supply and stuff. So
They had a lot of holidays, a couple of funerals, a bunch of weather days.
yeah. So we like what they're doing. We just want to keep them here so they
Yes.
get done.
Sylvan Court looks really good.
Okay.
It would
Good.
be good if we could, in the future, we could do something like this at sidewalks.
Yeah. I agree. Mike West on the way fees for permits. They're all in-house work for Sylacauga Housing Authority on their property, so those permits are going to be waived for that. And then travel and training, accounts payable. All right, so excuse me, we'll do Michael last. Chief, you're up. And everybody's got what Chief and Alex handed out. Got a copy. Looks like it.
Have y'all had a chance to look over it?
Briefly, I scanned over it today.
When I got it.
As many of you know, we have been struggling to hire police officers. And there again, it's not just us, it's all over the nation. But, we don't really care what's going on in other places, we wanna fix what's here.
That's right.
We lost 2 more this week, which brings us to a total of 9 vacancies. We've got 1 person in the police academy. We got 9 vacancies to fill, and I think we have one person that's applied and is willing to take a PT test. So right now, you guys gave us the opportunity to do the pay plan back last year, I think it was last April. And I worked it up myself, thinking that it would help us get to a level to where we would be able to compete, but we're not able to. We, along with the finance department, have worked up some numbers, and the mayor came to me talking about we need to get something done. We've got to get something done to put Sylacauga in the spotlight. Other than the lack of employees and the number of crimes that are being committed, and right now we're having an influx of violent crimes.
Yeah. In broad daylight.
Broad daylight, they're not worried about what they're doing, they're not worried about getting caught. But we're putting our officers in a lot of situations and a lot of danger by being short-handed, or by our officers working so much overtime. And we have a policy that says they can't work but 18 hours overtime. I mean, they can't work but 18 hours in a 24-hour period. And a lot of shifts, that's happening. We've got somebody that's working an 18-hour shift most of the time.
And that's dangerous because you're liable to
Yes.
doze off at any time.
You know,
You can't have it.
if you're sleepy, you're gonna be slower to react, and
Get yourself hurt.
Dangerous.
could cause them to get injured, whether
Yeah.
it be seriously or, there's things that are going on out there now to where law enforcement's having to act, and, Memphis is not doing us any good. You know, it's getting back to the way it was when it happened in, Missouri, I think it was. Ferguson, and, putting another negative spotlight on law enforcement. So, the mayor came to me asking me how we can do whatever we can do, that we need to, you know, it's an emergency on our part to get something done so that we can hire some qualified, quality employees. I'm not one to just hire somebody to put them in a seat. But we need to get some quality employees, and we need to get some quality law enforcement officers to come, but we can't do it with what we've got now.
Chief, on an average night, on an average Saturday night, Friday night, Thursday night, how many do we actually have patrolling from the sanctuary to Sycamore?
Usually, after a certain time at night, we wound up with 3.
Well,
That's dangerous.
Unless we have somebody that's filling in the shift overtime. We need
Yeah.
to have 4. It's ideal to have, 4 officers and a supervisor to cover all the sectors that we have, and have one person that's called a floater that backs up the officers as they handle their calls, but.
Where's the revenue?
Those are our,
I got you.
officers, not patrolmen.
Gotcha, so the vacancies are in control.
Vacancies are, yeah, all vacancies are in control. But that's where, you know, that's the first place to go to.
And
And that's a competitive number?
That is a competitive number, and the way that we got that, $20 seems to be like a magic number, for our area. And we put a 20% increase on our payroll, or on our, pay plan that we had done before. Brought our starting pay for an uncertified officer up to $20.18. Then we went through with the formula that we used to get all of the other positions, all the other steps, and the other, grades to where they needed to be, to where they were even. It's a 12% increase between grades. We selected a 2.5%, where we had a 3.5% before. We selected 2.5% increase between steps. And, we actually shortened the number of steps in a grade, with hopes that that we could get people, topped out, if we were to be able to do the, step raises every year. I don't know where we stand with that, and that's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. I would, that's something that we'll be talking about later.
Sure.
I guess as the city, in the whole city.
Right.
But
How many officers do you have that could retire at any day?
right now, there's 6 of us that can leave,
How
with
many?
another
Over 25 years.
3, that are counting down the months. So, we've got 9 vacancies We've got 6 that can leave as far as retirement goes, that have already put their at least 25 years in RSA.
I got a question, kind of a two-part question. So we have 6 officers right now that can, if they decided they can leave today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanna know, and I don't have to know who said it, I just wanna know from them, and it can be anonymous, why would you stay? What would make you stay? I just wanna see it on paper. I mean, they can put it in a box. It could be 6 pieces of paper. We don't have to know who said it, but I wanna know what will make you stay. Why would you stay? Cause I know it's not always,
Guys,
I know it's not always money.
Well, here, I'll tell you why I will stay. I'm one of the 6, okay? And I'll tell you what is gonna make me stay is enjoying the job that I do. When I get to where the stress level is high enough and I don't enjoy coming to work, I'm not coming to work. And the reason, the one thing that I see that would get me to that point is the frustration that I have without being able to fill my positions.
But see, you're chief, so it's a different level of you. You're chief. So you see what I'm saying? So it's different. But these other guys, they're here, and I know it may be the money, but I know it's not only the money. So there has to be something else, because we're trying this. This is the second time that we've tried this. So there has to be something that we're missing. There has to be something else that we need to do besides money. And I know the cars are one thing too, the take home cars. So I just wanna know.
Yeah, the take-home cars, a poll that we did with the officers, take-home cars are secondary. The money is first. Being able to compete, to bring in some certified guys that'll help us fill our ranks. And
let me ask you this.
give us a break, get us some help.
The patrolman is where the vacancies are, where I guess the problem is recruiting patrolmen. Obviously, they can go 10 minutes down the road and make more. I mean, I understand the situation we're in. So you take the proposed cost of this increase to patrol to $20.18 an hour, it's about $82,000. Can we not focus on that there and then fill in from, say you got I'm sure you have 1 to 5 year guys that will probably be jumped by that patrol moving up to 20, fixing them, as well as the 82,000 for the new patrol. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm sure there's some 1 to 5 year guys that aren't making 20 either.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of.
we could bump the patrol to the 2018 and then fix those that have gotten surpassed, those 1 to 5s or
We
whomever.
have 1 to 10 that aren't making 20,
Well,
we have people
I
who's
mean,
been
you've
there
got
almost
some
10
sergeants
years.
But cause it boils down to money everywhere, you know what I mean? And I wish to death that we could stroke a check and make this happen today. And the fact is, even with budget, with different funds and rates that we can pull from, they're earmarked for specific things like your capital projects, et cetera, and there's not many things out there that you can pull to say, hey, we're going to take this out of so-and-so budget, so-and-so fund for salary. That's general budget, general fund stuff. And right now we have less than $20,000. And, we have discussed options to get that up, and we relook at revenue streams to get that total up, because we have new businesses open, big box businesses opening, and we can always relook at the revenue after that first quarter and see what it could be. And
Here's what you do when you do that, is you wind up losing your senior officers, because they got skipped over. I would prefer to keep the people that we have that are trained, that are here doing the job now, than I had pull in new people.
I agree.
Because we've got them on the road now. A new officer that's uncertified is gonna come in, it's gonna take that person almost a year to be a solo officer.
But the 2018, is that something what like the county is paying, or is that number based on being competitive?
Lincoln's over 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets us into the
Ballpark.
Yeah.
ballpark to where I think we can do good with the 2018, with those numbers there, I think that we can get some quality employees that are already certified,
Well, my
and that we can keep the ones that we've got.
My suggestion would be that there's not really a lot of difference in the grand scheme of things between 20 and 21 or 20 and 22. If there's some extra, because if you assume that the competition is gonna react by raising theirs, you need to get
Make them hurt to raise it.
So that it makes it difficult for people to take them from us once we've gotten them, because we're a little more competitive, which in the grand scheme of things is not as much. And we're probably gonna have to deal with this in chunks. We've got the chunk of patrol that we have to worry about now, and the bigger picture to worry about later. So,
Still, the fact remains of where do we get the money from?
I have a couple of other questions. So the goal is to take care of the people we have and to attract new people, right?
That's great.
And so the number that you came up with, which one of these is the total cost that,
338.
okay? So
Right.
that's,
338 is the total for the pay plan, minus the corporal positions.
so is that,
And that's,
is the 338 an increase, or is that total including what we already got?
that's an increase
going
on
from
what we're.
2.1 to 2.6.
Okay, but that's including these 9 patrol,
That's all new. 338's all
As
new
if-
stuff.
as if they're
That's
100%
fully staffed police department.
So,
And the chances of getting fully staffed
I mean, it'll take.
is probably gonna take it.
Take a
I
couple
know
of
it,
years.
but the,
Well, I mean, it
Months.
may not.
Once you do that,
If it works.
but let me
Yeah.
tell
It's
you
all
why,
from him.
why I asked. This is why I asked, because the 338, that's including these 9 spots that need to be filled.
That's right.
How much are just the patrol spots? How much are just the patrol spots?
82.
Okay. A piece?
Total.
Total, that's it?
Well,
for
It
15,
can't
No.
be. That's
Excuse
not
me.
right.
You know, here, on,
9,000.
Yeah, 82.
2018,
How many second guessing
patrol
myself?
officer's gonna start out, that's $44,073.
let me ask you
A
this,
year.
Billy.
The increase in those 9 will be 82.
I know it, but the reason I asked is if there was a way to take care of the top and only, and break this down. Because like you say, you're not gonna get 9 new officers in a year. I mean, we would like to, but in reality, you're not. You see, I know that's the goal, that's the point, but you still have to be realistic about it. And we still have to take care of the top. The top is what's most important now, and the bottom is too, but what I'm saying is there a way to,
Cut it in half and then put the other half towards the top.
yes. And then you add a couple in every year. That's what I'm asking, because
Way you
now,
can take care of top and bottom at the same time.
yes. Because we always look at everything as a whole,
right?
instead of,
Well, we also don't have a whole year to go.
I know, but we're not gonna get 9 new officers in a year. I mean, we would like to, we would, but what you're saying is no matter what, we still have to take care of the people we got. Whether we get new people or not, we still gotta take care of the people we got. So, we wanna take care of the people we got and we wanna attract new people, but instead of trying to fund 9 new positions at one time, let's try to take care of the top.
Well, they're not new, they're in the budget right now.
I know it, I know they're in the budget, and they've been in the budget every year, but we're not filling it.
Yeah.
So, and you know, like Ashton said, well, where are we gonna get this money from?
Well, a lot of this year's funding would notionally come from approved positions that are budgeted that we haven't filled. Problem is getting past October
Yes.
and having it continue.
Yeah, but,
But you also, you must be reminded also the unfilled position, with the, what was it, the increase in the retirement deal.
Yeah, we already
It was
passed.
funded, yeah, and it was funded
Using
with the,
part of that.
yeah, so I just,
So I guess this is my question.
I,
You know, we know we fixing to be in a mess,
Yeah.
what the chief is trying to tell us.
we're already in a mess.
We're just
Really
we're just in a bigger
I'm
mess.
feeling a bunch of it's gonna walk out if we don't do something.
Okay,
But y'all not, do you hear what I'm saying though?
I hear what you're saying. But here's what I wanna, do we not, I don't think we're the only municipality to ever deal with this across America. I really don't. But is there not anything in any reserves
Yeah.
account or this Kim or anything that we can do when the new tax revenue comes around, replace it?
Well, the only such reserves count there are, you know, you say like rainy day, but it's not, it's for like catastrophic, like when '08 happened
Mhm.
and '07, '08 happened and we couldn't make ends meet to pay our bills, we had to dip into that
I agree.
to make the city.
But if we ain't got no
Catastrophic, though.
police, we ain't like to worry about
Yeah.
paying
You
bills.
know,
We won't
worry
have
about no
any
city.
stores left, and people will be looting them and everything else. I mean, this is a pretty catastrophic. I
The,
mean, I
uh,
think that multiple people have applications in other places, from what I've been told, so.
And that's true everywhere.
So,
But this is
Most of your funds
detrimental.
are restricted, you're aware of that.
oh, right, do we have anything that can get us out of this jam and then replace the funds?
You've
Yeah.
got to
To-
continue to do
the
this
top
every year though.
Increase,
I understand.
it's like 100
Well,
But
we
when the
can-
new tax
Yeah.
revenue comes around,
would be the top.
replace it.
On salaries, but
But
you
we'll have to
already
just
allocated
take
and
from somewhere
talked about
else.
what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
We've got to figure something out.
Cause this is,
We've got to do something else.
That's for all the leaks, right?
And I know we're tired of hearing that
That's-
phrase.
That's the whole, that's the whole topic.
It's still not, I mean, if we cut out hiring 7 of the 9, you know, it's not gonna keep that way. Our guys can still work in the 18-hour shift.
Well, and you're spending more than that in overtime
Yeah.
as well, so we're still spending the money that we're
Still
spending.
spending the money in overtime, for manpower.
And the only thing that's holding this is we all wanna do it, we're not stupid, we know we need it. It's the fact of where can we get the money? I mean, that's, you know.
I think we can find the money for 60% of the patrol officers is finding the other 100.
Yeah, because
Sort of
salaries are
between
such
now and then.
restricted item that you have to, you know, as far as what you can spend each fund on and budget on, not a lot of things you can, budgets you can pull out of for salaries, that's what. And I'm ignorant to the fact, I don't know everything about that nature, you know, so y'all have to help me on that, where we could pull that money from.
Well, we would have to sit down and look,
Come up with some,
you
what
know.
we're really looking at, some hard
We would
numbers,
need-
and
we
then
would
you figure out
need
what.
to take
What
these
numbers
numbers,
are you looking at? I
and then
mean,
we would need to take, y'all would need to take whatever accounts we have that we would be eligible to pull from and get together and say, okay, this is what we can take from this account, this is what we can take from that account for salaries and be legal, and we may surprise ourselves and find what we need to find.
The 300,000, I'm kinda,
Yeah.
but we come up with a realistic number, and then we can, go through and see. And like you said, once with the additional sales tax, but you know, as we always state with salaries, that's an ongoing cost, it's not like a one-time thing, so we wanna make sure we're realistic and that we can sustain whatever we decide to do.
Right. So I mean, we wouldn't vote on it tonight anyways, but I'm saying we can't keep, like, didn't y'all sit down and work these numbers out together? Finance
based
and
on what
police?
Kelly had
That was
requested.
based on.
Are these not hard numbers?
This is based on what was proposed. Now, if there, like you said, if you can break it, you're gonna break it down in chunks. What chunks you gonna break down?
No, I mean, but aren't these hard numbers based off, hey, this is what I wanna pay, so this is what it's gonna
Within
cost?
$5,000, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
But
I
you
may
also-
ask them, if this council will make a solid commitment to these officers, that something's gonna be done. And we're not gonna kick the can down the road, but we're gonna go support them every possible.
no, I mean,
way we
I
can.
think we all agree around the table
I
that we
think-
have to
I think
have.
we
Well,
can
they
do
need
that.
that confidence.
And
Because
that's what I'm saying, you can't-
we've got to
you
find
can't do that.
where to pull the money
That's
from.
how you have to be realistic about stuff.
I have some ideas, I think we can figure out a place where to find it, but we're gonna need some time to talk about it before next meeting.
And
Yeah.
everybody's gonna have to be on the same page.
Cause I mean, you know, we changed from our schedule last meeting to work session stuff doesn't go on the same agenda that night anyways, and let,
And this is the stuff that, thing that we discussed with the
We can,
in the next meeting.
we can put this at the work session after the capital.
Yes.
in the next work session, because we got our we never had numbers, so now we've got our numbers to what you think will keep us here, retention and recruitment possible. So now we know what to go find, we gotta know what accounts to find to pull from. that are legal with salaries and stuff,
I
so.
think we can fix this by next week.
And don't forget about the capital meeting with the cars and stuff too.
Yeah, but I would trump this before cars. If we can't get cars this year because of this, I think they would be fine with that.
Well, you know, there's another aspect of this too, it's the, when we talk about supervision, is we've asked for the corporal position, we asked last year.
And that's what a corporal does, correct? The supervision part.
Corporal is the first line supervisor, just under this, sergeant. We plan on having 9 corporals throughout the department. Those corporals, right now we have, let's say these 9 spots, we wind up filling our 9 spots. We don't have the people, the manpower to train the officers in what we call an FTS, Field Training Officer Program. That's a 14-week program, and we don't have the manpower to do it right now, because right now an FTO says, you know, hey, I don't wanna be an FTO anymore. There's nothing we can do to force that. But our plans are for the corporal position has to be an FTO. So that gets us 9 FTOs, that's one on every shift. It puts us with people in the position to train our new recruits. It also, right now, we have no, compensation for a supervisor, for somebody to run the shift when the supervisor's out. We've got a patrolman that's stepping up, doing a supervisor's position, handling everything that a sergeant handles, and there's no compensation. And that happens
And that's in
very
here?
regularly.
And that's in here, conversations in here for that.
It is, it's all
part of that 338.
The corporal position is another sheet that you've got there that totals 38,000 and some change.
But that's in its own.
It adds to it.
It makes the total the 376,000.
Corporal's added an additional 38,839.
And see, what we're doing, a way that we've tried to help to pay for this is we're gonna get rid of, we wanna get rid of the MPO status, which is a extra check a month, every pay period. We wanna get rid of the investigations incentive, which is an extra check, and the FTO incentive, which is each officer gets 1 hour, on each day that he or she has a cadet. We're willing to give those up, which total, Cassie, do you have it?
And is that in there?
Sir?
Is that in there?
It's in there, yes, sir, it's in there. We're willing to give those amounts up, it's 17,000,
But what you propose is net.
38,000 minus the 17,000, right?
Is any of this subject to consideration, review, or approval by the Civil Service Board? This is on the
We've passed the job description, they've been signed by you guys and the Civil Service Board. All we have to do is give a test.
But they don't care about the comp, so this is not gonna mean anything we have to review with them if we start changing the compensation, it's just the qualification.
No, just, yeah.
So this is the total, this is the proposed cost, the addition, right?
Without
That's that.
corporals.
Plus 3. Yeah, with the corporal,
This
it's
is the corporal
376,
stuff.
196, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's,
I got you, let's talk with finance over the next 2 weeks and figure out a way to make it happen.
And then also another idea would be to calculate, a certain time period, maybe the last 12 months of the accrued overtime that's, you know, out of the ordinary, more than normal from these 18-hour shifts and stuff like that to add, so we could get the true net of
If we
the
have people
project.
working 18 hours at high rates, at overtime rates, and we're spending more than we'd be spending.
If we do
for
this.
overtime.
Correct.
So we've already got a problem, but we're probably spending more than we need to spend, more than budget, so we're over budget without having looked at that yet, so.
That's what I'm saying, though, we take all those, I don't know, I'm sounding,
The overage.
yeah, you take the overtime out and put that towards the new
Because we need
guys.
the overtime.
Well,
Then
and if we don't do
takes
something,
overtime
if we
down.
don't do
That makes
something, the
sense.
overtime's gonna be so high, that it's gonna be more costly than.
I think so,
Well,
too.
everybody pay overtime,
So, that is, for you guys in here, our verbal word that we're trying to get this done and gonna look at it to
I agree with that.
see where we can pull it from, see where we can legally get the money to do this. And we'll have to go over our ideas within the next 2 weeks, and I hope finance, you guys, and Kelly, y'all have an open door policy there to go back and forth and sit down, look at overtime, see what the net is of this, and yes, you can.
They need to hear that you're gonna do it.
That you're
That's
gonna
what
do
they-
it.
That you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
That's what
we're
they
gonna
wanna
do
If
it.
we're gonna do it, we gotta find the money.
Okay,
We
That
gotta
what
get
you
the
need
money
to
to do
hear?
it.
Confidence they need.
We're gonna,
Yeah.
we're gonna find a way.
okay.
All right, and thank you for these numbers too. That's, I know that
And it's
took a
good-
lot of work.
And it's good that they match with the $5,000.
That's very
Yeah, that means they're close.
That's something we gotta do a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, sure. The only other thing we have is Michael Rice here. Is he out there?
And Sam is here too. right?
Yes, we talked about the permits and, the, issue with Early Collins and stuff. Legality, you and Lynn talked about that.
Yeah.
Correct, so y'all are good there.
So you're
All right,
gonna,
Mike.
you're gonna finish that by next week.
Yeah,
Next
well,
meeting.
Sam came just gonna tell us a little bit.
Oh, okay, my bad,
What's
okay.
gonna happen once the transfer takes place.
Yeah, so for y'all that
Why
don't
he's
know,
here.
we're planning on having the housing authority step in, kind of re-give them the property back of Early Collins Center, and Sam, you tell them what you got in mind.
We just wanna have a place for, for our kids, in that area, in the neighborhood over there, to have, a place for recreation, and also we wanna try to do some things like some after-school programs, tutoring programs, things like that. And, I was looking at possibly building something new. So we took another look at Early Collins, and it looks like, it's a good structure. It needs a lot of work, but we've got a capital fund program, and, HUD really encourages that kind of thing, especially in a situation like we've got now where we kinda
Don't have
don't have anything for, recreational wise for our kids, so there's no problem with us spending our capital fund money on that, and we've still got money from 19, 20, 21, that, a little bit, not a lot, but we've got our 22 and 23 money, and we're putting money in our, 24, our fiscal year starts July 1, so we're putting money into our next, fiscal year, plan to spend a good bit to get the roof fixed and do some things, give it a facelift. We're gonna get our architects involved and try to make it something nice for the neighborhood.
Good.
Thank you,
That
Sam.
could be transformative.
Thank you, Sam.
Absolutely, we appreciate that.
Appreciate y'all working with us.
Yes, and then there was just a few legal things when y'all work through that, I'm sure we keep you.
So we'll be ready by next meeting to
Right.
get, to pass that over.
We're getting the ordinance of the
To get it back.
resolution together
Yeah.
so we can get it.
Cause even the parking lot next to it's theirs.
I know, I'll look at there, so,
Um,
just wanna make sure it's original.
Right.
Michael Rice, we got you here, you're gonna talk about some, projects going on, and I know there's potential grant funding opportunities for drainage. I talked to you about, Ben and I discussed, Ben Robbins and I, and they had, I spoke with the league, and they had a representative reach out and just state that, the better the chances of a municipality receiving this grant was if we had a plan in place to hand them and say, look, this is what we're gonna do with this money, not just say, hey, give us some money for drainage. So, I kinda contacted you and see if we could get that ball rolling on creating something to hand over, potentially put us in the forefront to grab that grant money. So, kinda hit on that a little bit, and then what you got ongoing right now.
Okay, so, kind of the first project you referred to, I think the drainage need in the city has been primarily Broadway from First to Third. That area kind of gets most of the water, most of the flooding issues. I have reached out to Video Industrial Systems and had them look at those two blocks along Broadway from First to Third. and said, how much would it cost to video all those storm sewers and get us an existing conditions map built? Because it's hard to know what to apply for, what to ask for if you don't know what you got. So that's kind of the first step in it. And they've sent me, their estimate was $10,800, and that's roughly 3 days of them video and camera. And what I found is they provide the best information back to us to start making decisions and formulating estimates. And I can send a copy of that to you all to see. But then we'll have some time in there saying, okay, you know, that's the existing infrastructure. Is it adequate for what, you know, the amount of water and the flow that's being conveyed through here? So the second part of that is evaluating what is substandard, what needs improvement, what is just maintenance issues, you know, formulating a plan to apply for money.
Good.
You know,
You're allowed to, can something like that use bond proceeds, or is that not physical, tangible?
The 10-8 you're talking about?
Yeah, the 10 could.
Good.
We divert the bond proceeds.
Yeah.
So.
So we could definitely make that happen.
okay, so if I need to kind of prepare a proposal for, you know, the video industrial side of this, and maybe what it's gonna cost for us
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about,
to get some recommended improvements and just a preliminary plan together to go to ask for funding.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
something we could present to them with those grants like Ben was talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's gonna be very similar, the same process that we went on the Sylacauga drainage project. We kinda had to do some videoing, some upfront work to figure out what wasn't working, what was substandard, what needs to be improved. So that's that project that you reached out to me about. The second one is the ongoing Sylacauga drainage project. So it's bidding, it's out for bid right now. It's advertising with the Daily Home. That advertisement will finish up on February 17th. There'll be a mandatory pre-bid in the Fay-Hosey Chambers February 22nd at 10. And then we will open bids here in the Mayor's Conference Room on February 28th. So that's kind of the schedule laid out, and then we would hope to bring those, get those bid tab certified, bring those back before council for approval on the March 7th meeting. So that's kind of the plan moving forward on that project. Okay. One thing that I want to recommend, and I've got a copy of it for everybody. The contractor that's doing the demolition work at the Avondale Mills site, I have reached out to them and said, hey, while you guys are here, one of the locations we were gonna do in that drainage project was to clean the ditch along Central Avenue from basically the entrance into the school board property right there down to the bridge, and it's about 670, 700 feet or so. And I just thought there may be some cost savings of getting them to do it. They're already mobilized in, they've got big equipment there to handle that kind of stuff. And so that's that, if we can pass it around. So what I'm recommending, my cost to do that, estimated cost was $40,000 to $50,000 if we bid it out. And they have given the city a price of $8,500 to clean it out. Now, Reed has said that if they would just get it out of the ditch and stockpile it there, he would haul it off and dispose of it.
8,500's very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a substantial, any other contractor can't hardly mobilize in, a large piece of equipment, remove the fence to, for 85, much less dig all that stuff out.
Mhm.
So, if the city council approves it, I would like to tell them that we're gonna accept that proposal and move forward on that, and remove it out of bidding it out in a drainage project.
Yeah.
I think there's, as a more
Do
cost
we need
effective.
to, can we wait till next meeting, or is that an urgent item to add?
No, I think if the city council, you can vote on it whenever, but if the city council's okay with it, I just need to know for
Yes.
putting out bid documents.
I think we're okay with it.
Get
Okay.
after it.
Okay.
Hey, ask Reed, what's the latest with Calhoun?
Latest on Calhoun 3.
Have we got down through there yet?
That's part of the video we're talking about.
It's part of the video.
Great, okay.
The one other thing, during our Lake Howard meeting, they had a proposal of those inserts for the bridges you were talking about. You wanna hit on that for a second?
I can. There's a company called Barnhart Crane who Aldot referenced me to and said, hey, if you're gonna jump this bridge with some kind of pre-made system, they're gonna be the ones that's got something to do it.
Mhm.
And they do have the equipment, but for whatever reason, they use that equipment internally to move their stuff to
On
projects.
jobs, yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to use it for this application. I told them that the city has shut down, you know, that bridge before the second one to repair it, you know, kind of work with the utility board and the keeper of the house, kind of make sure we can get in and make it work. But they just said that they didn't want other construction traffic, not their own folks, using that system. So I'm almost down to, we gotta figure out what AlDOT, when they rated that bridge, what is the maximum we can do for a 1 week period, and just limit the loads, whether they're single axle or small tandem axle loads, to get you know, equipment and materials over there to do something. on
So
both
this,
sides.
what you presented, it's not a permanent in nature, it's for to get the job done.
Yes,
To
it's
jump that
basically to get
bridge.
equipment across
Yeah.
full loads to be able to do construction work on the other side of that bridge.
Got you, okay.
So
It looked pretty neat, I mean, from the pictures, it looked like a pretty hefty machine that was crossing on the pictures.
It did,
I
it
think.
did. I mean, they hauled, they weren't worried at all about the bridge handling it. For whatever reason, they just think there's some liability in another contractor using it. You know, they don't mind their folks crossing it and using it, but
Gotcha.
like renting it out, or, you know,
Mhm.
city paying them for a week to use it, they just,
Got you.
so,
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Thank you, Michael, for all
Yeah.
you do for us.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you very much. Went over the items already on the agenda. We, wanted to I'll let Laura hit on it during the actual meeting, but just an FYI, we have an outside the city company coming, trying to represent selling ads for the local high school and stuff, or programs and such. And it's not, I don't know if it's real, it's not real, or they shouldn't be doing it.
It's real, but they're not working, with the approval of the school system, and
Oh,
it
wow.
happens all the time.
Mhm.
This particular one is for a t-shirt, and they're saying it's for spring game days, it's a spirit shirt, well, they're not selling on behalf of the school system.
So they're not gonna get any money, the school wouldn't get any money,
No,
so,
Yeah.
they're not getting
just
money.
be
They're
aware of
receiving
that.
money from our area businesses.
Yeah.
That's all.
So I'll let you announce that on the besides that, I guess if y'all don't have anything else work session, we'll adjourn and go downstairs.